Yo, 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 what's up, you guys? So, a lot of you had been asking for some additional help and materials on your body language and general speech techniques. So, I wanted to come up with a short video series for you guys to give different feedback, different techniques, and just general advice and help that you guys can utilize when giving your speeches and performances. So, for today, I actually wanted to talk about hand gestures. For many people, when it comes to giving a presentation, they often really don't think about their hand gestures at all. Oftentimes, it comes down to what feels natural to you. Now, what feels natural can be wildly different for a lot of people. So, for example, if you're Italian, you might be using a lot of hand gestures all over the place. But if you're an Estonian, you might not be using very many hand gestures at all. And even then, it comes down to the person, what you just feel natural and comfortable with. But sometimes what feels natural might not actually be the best for a given performance, or it may be distracting or cause meanings that you didn't intend to get across. So, for example, if you're moving your hands wildly, people might think you're unstable, or if you're not moving them at all. It actually takes away a chance to build up a lot of communication because you can use your hands and your movements to really emphasize your points and help the audience understand what you want to get across. So for today, I wanted to go over just 5 different techniques and hand gestures you can utilize and think about when giving a speech to help either emphasize your meaning or to create a certain mood as well. Now, the first one I wanted to talk about was the box. So, the idea behind the box is that when you're giving a presentation, you should keep your hands inside an invisible box in front of you. The idea is that this makes you seem more stable and more trustworthy if your hand motions are generally contained. The idea is that if your hands are flailing wildly all over the place, you actually can seem unstable and a little crazy. So if I'm talking like this and I'm moving my hands a lot, it can be really distracting. I might not seem like I'm very calm or collected. But if I keep my hand motions in one central area and speak in that manner, then often you can come across a little more stable and a little more in control of the situation overall. This technique was actually popularized by Bill Clinton in some way, because when he was being trained for his performances and speaking, he would actually gesture wildly a lot with his hands extending outward. So his speech trainers actually recommended him to keep things inside the box. In this way, he was able to be seen as more trustworthy and more stable. So it's actually a really interesting and good technique to try yourself, especially if you find yourself moving your hands a lot. Trying to keep yourself inside the box is one good technique to utilize. The next technique I wanted to go over was the idea of holding the ball. This technique is used to show that you are in control of the situation, you're dominant, and you're running the show here. The holding the ball technique is basically imagining an imaginary ball in front of you. By holding this ball, you move it up and down. Your thumbs are pointed upwards and your hands are extended along the ball. The idea is that as you talk, you kind of move this ball up and down. This shows that you're in control of the show, your thumbs are pointed upwards, so it's a positive situation, and can be really good for showing that, hey, I know where this is going, my ideas are good, and you can definitely join and come along with me in this process. Now, this is one that's heavily used by politicians. I think one of my favorite examples of the holding the ball technique is when Barack Obama gives speeches. So whenever he needs to give a more serious speech and show that he's in control, such as a State of the Union, oftentimes he'll be using that hold the ball technique to show, that he's in command of the situation. Now, the next technique I wanted to show you, you've probably also seen used by politicians as well. The idea behind this one is called the pyramid hands. So the pyramid hands show that you are relaxed and self-assured. You probably have seen this one a few times as well. If you think of Angela Merkel when she's giving her speeches and addresses, oftentimes she'll have her hands in this pyramid format, kind of moving them back and forth, up and down in agreement. But also, it's a good position for when you just don't know what to do with your hands as well. So the pyramid form can take many shapes. You can be holding them like this, you can have your hands crossed over, but either way you do it, it shows that you are relaxed, that you're thinking, and you're kind of still stable and understanding the situation as a whole. The next two ones I wanted to go over are counter to each other. One is used to show kind of an openness and a friendliness, and the other one's used to show assertive and aggressiveness. And these are having your palms up and having your palms down when you speak. When you have your palms up, you actually come off as more friendly and approachable. So if you really want to relate and be open and expressive with an audience, having your palms up, gesturing towards them and back, can be very kind of open. It can create the sense of, hey, I'm very receptive to you guys, I care about you, you care about me, let's communicate this way. But on the flip side, if you actually have your palms down, it can be seen as aggressive, dominant, and assertive. I'm sure you guys have seen some interesting historical figures who have used these sort of palms down. But it's actually really interesting because we see this palms up and palms down in a lot of our social situations as well. So for example, if you're going in for a handshake with someone and the person you're shaking hands with is, very aggressive and wants to show their dominance, oftentimes they'll twist it. So in that way, it can create an interesting situation where you can actually see the dynamics of having your palms up versus having your palms down in a lot of situations. So when you're giving a presentation, if you want to be kind of friendly with the audience, have them agree with you, use that soft power and be open, having your palms up as you gesture is a good way to do it. But if you want to show them that you're the boss and we're playing things your way, then you can have your palms down and use some of the more aggressive gestures as well. Already, even if I'm just speaking like this generally, you can see and almost understand that there's a different tonal message behind them, even if my voice is roughly the same. There's tons of hand gestures you can utilize when giving any speech. The important thing to do is to actually realize what you need to work on and how you can communicate them into your speeches and performances. One of the really important things to do is to actually videotape yourself speaking. You'll find that you have a lot of interesting quirks and things that you do. You might be playing with your hands too much. You might have those wild and out there gestures. But from there, you'll be able to see what you need to work on. It takes a little bit to start incorporating different hand gestures within your speech, but knowing what you want to communicate and finding a hand gesture to go with it is all the start. So this is just to give you guys a little basics of what you can utilize as far as hand gestures go. Hopefully I'll be able to create some more videos for you guys relating to body posture, facial expressions, and even proper body control for a video call. So hope to see you guys again and hope you enjoyed the lecture. So see you later, guys. Bye-bye.